I can't hear you talking.
All right. Can anyone hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, hey, excellent. Okay. So we're going along better. And let's see, who is still on mute? Clara, you're on mute. And Michaela, you're on mute. Okay, so I can see Lynn, I can see Kristen, I can see Rebecca. So far, three other people. Clara, I can see you, or I can see members of your family. And can you hear me, Clara?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. All right, so this is basically a potentially very short Zoom meeting. This is to start the class, make sure everyone gets to meet as many of the other people. My goal is to have probably about 4 Zoom meetings a week, but you're only required to attend one of them. I'm going to try and space them out various parts of the day so that, so it's convenient for different people's schedules. Some people have the lunch hour, some people have like evening time available. And so besides quick introduction, so I'm Alex, I'm teaching the class. Does anyone have any questions? Who here, we can start right down the line, starting with, let's say, Kristen, who's on my top left. Who here has watched the videos for Unit 1 yet? Kristen, have you seen them?
I've gone over the thing today.
Okay, all right. Lynn, have you watched any of the videos yet? Or
Yes, sir, I have gone over 'em.
okay, good. And Rebecca?
I've watched a few of them. I haven't been able to watch all of them.
Okay, all right. And Brittany, have you watched the videos? Oh, I skipped Clara. Okay, Claire, have you watched?
I haven't watched them.
Okay,
Not yet. I'll
Okay.
try to watch it today.
okay. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I tried to get as much information out to everyone early so that you could get ahead because, you know, our first week is a little bit of a scramble because we don't have a full first week. But it's, it's your right to not start until technically the first day of class. That is totally fine. And so I got a question earlier today on email from someone about doing the homework. And one of the things I would say about doing the homework is I would look at the notes for the lectures and I would watch the lectures. I would look to those two things first in terms of finding answers to the homework. And then I would turn to the reading because most of the answers are going to come from my lectures and come from my notes. Is everyone who's watched the videos, have you also looked at the notes? Yes, no, anybody?
Yes.
Okay, does everyone know where the notes are in the modules? Do I need to go through that, show you where the stuff is? And would people
Yeah.
like me to do that? Or does everyone's so quiet? Okay, so because, you know, like I get this question a lot every summer session that I teach this where, you know, we'll get like a week or two into the class and the student will be kind of far behind. And part of it is because they're not working particularly efficiently. And, you know, I think one of the things that you can do for efficiency is look at the notes first, right? Because in the notes, I lay out a lot of the information that's going to be covered in the lecture. And if you see those notes, then when you watch the videos, you have a much better idea of what to be listening for and what the content's going to be. You also have a better idea of what information was not covered in the notes, but you're still looking for in terms of homework. And so you can do it more efficiently. A number of you I know are taking multiple summer classes and also working full time. How many of you here, let's do a show of hands. How many of you are taking more than one class this summer session and also working full time? Okay, all right, that's and are any of you taking four classes this summer session and also working full time? That is a lot. I just want to say that is a good deal of work. Generally, on the main campus, our rule for advising is that no one should take more than 2 classes per summer session. But you know, like, you know, if I've had students in the past do that, like pretty much only nursing students on the Tupelo campus who have done it. But I've had some who've done it successfully. I've had some who got A's in this class while doing, you know, 3 other classes per summer session and also working full time. But it's going to be a lot of work just because like my goal is for us to learn as much as in this class as we would if we were doing it, you know, on a regular semester. So there's a lot to learn. Let's see. Are there any questions people have about, those of you who have watched some of the first unit, any questions people have about the first unit, about Paleolithic art and Neolithic art, about, let's see, the next lecture was about expressiveness and was making mark. So I talked about graffiti, and then the next lecture was about drawing. And then what was the last lecture about? Oh, actually, I think somewhere in between there was a drawing about line and mark. Any questions about any of those lectures? Really, none? No questions whatsoever. raise your hand if you maybe have a small question. And then I'll ask you what it is. No one has any questions whatsoever about any of this stuff. Everyone feels really comfortable about understanding Paleolithic art, about the difference between, let's say, the upper and lower Paleolithic, or the difference between the Paleolithic and the Mesolithic, or everyone feels like, yeah, I got this. Everyone feel like they understand some of the main points I made about drawing, about different types of drawing and what is or isn't a drawing, and whether it matters what the distinction is between artwork that is or is not a drawing. Anyone have any questions? Sorry, what?
I feel like there's a lot of reading, and I've read this morning, but point, no, I don't have any questions. I haven't finished all of the
Okay.
stuff to go over. I do have a question about, and I could have already read this, like that there was a lot, so I'm a little overwhelmed right now. But like the section 2, week 1 homework, where you fill in the blanks and everything, how do we download that? How do we fill those blanks in to submit that?
Right. Yeah, you could do it either way. You could do it directly into the homework assignment, right? And you could, to do it like directly through assignments, you could just fill it in as a text, right? But you could also upload it as a document. And in fact,
don't see the feature to like download it as a template or anything.
yeah,
Oh,
let me look at that.
okay.
You're looking at assignments and for homework number 1?
Yeah, I figured it out. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So for everyone else, just to be clear, so like for the homework, they appear on assignment, and they also appear under module. And is everyone getting a lot of feedback from me? I'm hearing a lot of echo from me. Yeah. Let's see if I can turn my mic down a lot, and that might help. Well,
I helped a lot. I can tell it already.
why is my mic not wanting to go down? That is weird.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
I had found the lecture videos in the email that you had sent, like so we could watch prior, but I can't find them on Canvas. Like, what section is it in on there?
Okay. Go to Pages. And if you like, on the left-hand side, right, there's like the list of all goes from home, syllabus, modules, announcements, and underneath assignments is Pages. And if you click on Pages, then you should see a list of all the units videos, and basically you can also go to the YouTube page if you wanted to as well.
Okay, yeah, I see it now. Thank you.
All right, good question. You see, this is why we have meetings, to make sure everyone can solve these problems quickly. So to get back to the issue of the homework, the homeworks they appear under modules. So you can always go to modules, especially if you wanted to work ahead. You can go to modules, find the Word document for the homework, download it. And now some students, this is not my preferred method in terms of from grading, but some students like to do this, where they'll download the homework and then write in the answers by hand, and then take a picture of that and submit the JPEG. It's actually, that slows me down from the grading point of view. So I'd like to discourage people from doing that. But sometimes especially if you're behind on homework assignments and you want to catch up, I can see from a student's point of view why that would be a fast way to kind of catch up on the homework assignments. But you can do it directly through the assignment function. You can do it as a text, like basically just type it directly in, or you could upload it as a Word document. And once again, you could first download the homework assignment from modules so you can see the questions right there, answer them, right? And then upload that. I actually prefer that. That's my preferred, because that way it's really fast for me to grade it on Canvas, and I can see the questions while I'm doing it. Like if you type in just the text answers, then I have to go back and check an assignment to make sure I know exactly which question matches which answer. But there are various options. And let me just say this, anytime either that you have, like, let's say you're submitting a homework assignment and like your power goes out, and so you missed the midnight deadline. As soon as you can, you get power back on, and let's say the assignment is now closed, just go ahead and send me the document, like if it's a Word document or the JPEG, send it to me on Canvas email, and and that would be fine. And you send, if you have a message saying, I wasn't able to do it this time because, and normally as long as you're just a few hours late, I won't even count that as late. And even if you are late, late penalties are pretty minor in my class, unless you're like, a week late. Okay, so I know some students are kind of afraid to submit assignments through email because they feel like, professors might get upset. But my feeling is any way that you can get it to me is fine, and I try my best to keep track of it, whichever portal it's coming through. Okay, so any other questions? So far, some good questions.
So I
Any
know
que-
that you said that you downloaded examples of all the homework, or maybe you said some of them under files. Like, is there examples of all of them or just some of them?
That's a good question. There's some. Let me go to files for a second. Actually, why don't I share screen so we can all see it together? I'll share screen. Okay, so let's go to files, and there's a folder that should be called examples of student work. And yeah, there is a bunch of stuff just loose, which covers a number of assignments, but the ones that are actually organized are art assignment number 1 and art assignment number 2 and art assignment number 3, and then design sketch 1 and 2. Let's look at art assignment number 1 for a second. And so if you click on them, everyone can see this, right? And let me move this. So that was one of the extra credits right there, fog. That was one clever way to approach the assignment. Let's see here. Some of these are one at a time. Let's see if we can find a page that kind of, oh, there we go, right? So there's art activity number 1, a hand. Ooh, that one's really good. Look at that. That's a very good example of like good use of change of line weight on the apple. A very, very nice car drawing, and a good example of a blind contour for the hand. And the cross contour line drawing on the apple is really quite well done. And there's another extra credit. Another one. Someone's parents owned a gremlin when they were a kid. That's cool. It's loading. Some of these files are too large. Canvas doesn't like large files. Oh, that's a nice one. I like especially that hand. So yeah, so for the very first ones, they've been kind of organized, and yeah, you can kind of go through them. But and I'll try to get more loaded as we go. And we can stop sharing screen now. So and I also periodically like to share some examples of student artwork, under announcements and other ways like that. In fact, actually, on one of the discussions, I think I showed, or maybe one of the announcements, I showed some examples of what I've done for some of those kind of assignments as well. Okay. Does that answer your question about finding student examples?
Yes, sir.
Does anyone else have any questions about those kind of art assignments? I think in terms of art materials, the thing that you guys will struggle with the most in terms of getting art materials is finding tracing paper. And that's kind of like, if you, it does help a lot with doing the design sketch assignments to have tracing paper. You could probably get by for the first two by just using something else, like wax paper could work. But in general, like I would, if you can't find it locally, retail is everyone that I'm speaking to, are you all in Tupelo or near Tupelo area? Okay. Those of you who are in Tupelo, you have a Hobby Lobby in Tupelo, right? And Lynn, are you in Columbus? Where are you located right now? Sorry, hold on, I can't hear you.
Leake County.
So there's probably not an art supply store all that nearby. So what I mean, like pretty much, like I said in at least one of the announcements, most of the artist materials that you can get from the dollar store, and whatever you can't get at the dollar store, you can get it at Walmart. So if you have access to those, to a dollar store or a Dollar General and a Walmart, you're going to be okay. But the tracing paper is the one thing where you might not be able to get it. Some Walmarts do carry it, depending on, like the art supply sections at Walmart are somewhat dependent on whoever is the manager for that particular store and whether they decide, they can sell something or not. But if you can't get it any other way, you could always order it. But then you're waiting, a couple of days for it to come by, to get to you. Sometimes if you have like an old-fashioned like stationery store, like a office supply store, you might be able to find like really, really thin typing paper, like what used to be called onion paper, and that can work as well. And then there's wax paper. The problem with wax paper is that pencil doesn't work very well over wax paper, but Sharpie can work pretty well on wax paper, and also like wax-based things, like such as if you can find like a China marker, right, and then drawing on wax paper, that works quite well. So, and obviously wax paper you can find generally like at a Walmart, or you can find it just about any grocery store. Right, it'll be in the same section as where you get like tin foil and saran wrap. Okay, and does anyone have any other questions about art supplies? Everyone's good. All right. Okay.
Well, I have a quick question.
Yes.
I was looking over, we are going on vacation next week, so I'm trying to do as much stuff as I can.
Right.
And so I just have like reading to do. And I saw the mini discussion, like covering 1 and 2, but it says it's available until May 26th, but it won't let me like comment on it.
Let's see. Let me look at that.
It won't let me either.
Okay. Let me go to discussions for a second. So yeah, mini discussion. Why is it not? Why is it not open? Let's. So can you look at it? You just can't.
I can see it and I know what I want to say, but there's nowhere to put that.
Right. Group session. Yeah, let's see. Oh, I see why. It doesn't, it actually opens. When does it open? So did you try it yesterday? Or no, actually it opens, today is the 24th. It says it should have opened today, like first thing in the morning. But let's redo that and see if that helps. say that it was open at 8 p.m. And let's give ourselves an extra day for that, just so that okay. Go ahead and check it in like maybe 5 minutes or so, and see whether that's changed. It was set to open as of like midnight last night, but I don't know why it didn't. So any other questions? So is that the only thing that you're concerned about in terms of getting stuff done ahead of going on vacation? You feel
Yeah, but I think it'll be okay. I'll have time
Okay.
to do it there.
right? You'll have access to be able to like, you have access to Wi-Fi and stuff to be able to upload
Yeah.
things. Okay. And let's see, is there anything else? This is 1.5 published. All right. Yeah, I'm just looking at the assignment just to double check to see if there's anything preventing it from being. Yeah, because at the moment so far, the only people who have posted anything have posted to the first discussion A, but no one yet to the other discussion. Let's see. So does anyone have, so I guess another thing that came up is like the amount of readings, and there are one of the things about the readings are that, you know, they're mostly from the one textbook, and oh, I got the 10-minute warning, so we only have 10 minutes left. You know, like there are a lot of pages, but generally because of art books, most of the page is often occupied by pictures. So in terms of actual reading, it usually should be kind of fast. And also keep in mind that my readings are out of the textbook are very much kind of like jumping from section to section. So you only have to read, make sure you're paying attention to the page numbers rather than just opening up the PDF and reading everything, because sometimes you might actually wind up reading an extra page or two that you didn't need to read. Not that it would hurt you, but if you went and looked at the page numbers, you could see. And I think all the PDFs are for edition number 8, but for all my readings, I list both the page numbers for edition number 8 and edition number 11. I think I might even list page numbers for edition number 12. Let me ask you this: how many of you, the bookstore here on campus, on the main campus, now has kind of like this new sort of policy where you can per semester just pay kind of like a flat fee for the semester and then get all your textbooks on that flat fee? Are any of you using that service yet? So just say, give me a thumbs up if you are, or a thumbs down if you're definitely not. All right. Okay, so no one, have you even heard of that yet? Has any, okay, all right. I don't know how that's going to extend to students who are not directly on campus here, but apparently the way it's supposed to work is that, you're supposed to be able to pay like a fee. I believe it's something really inexpensive, like $60. And then that covers, then you can basically rent all your textbooks for that semester just on that one fee. I don't know why it's so much more, because in the past, students have spent so much money on textbooks. It's one of the reasons why I went to a non-textbook policy. The other reason was because last summer, when the 12th edition came out, they put a lot of pressure on me to switch over to the 12th edition. And then when we started using it, it didn't match up any of I had like certain special questions or to match the textbook. And the 12th edition got rid of all of those sections. So it was like pointless. Anyway, so has anyone decided to buy a textbook, to buy like the 8th edition or the 11th edition?
Renting.
No. Okay. I mean, the main benefit of buying it is that, you can have it in hand, and and also you get all of your images in color. Whereas if you're working from the PDF, most of the images are going to be black and white. The only ones I give you in color when it's actually on the color unit. And, so, and the thing about the 8th edition is, it is available around the country for really, really inexpensive. Like still today, I think you can find copies of the 8th edition for like $4 or $5 for most of the online retailers. Now, that usually means you also have to spend $4 to get it delivered, but it's still usually less than $10 for a big fat textbook full of lots of beautiful pictures. So if you want to, you can, but you don't have to because the class provides you PDFs for everything you need. Okay, and so is that clear for everybody? All right. Okay, so we have only like a couple of minutes left, so this is a chance for any final questions. All right, well, it was very nice meeting all of you, and make sure if you do have any questions, send me an email. I do not mind them. And like I said, at least in one email, when I'm in class, which is every morning, I'm in watercolor class, I may not be able to respond all that quickly, but generally I try to check every afternoon, and I'll be trying to have at least 4 Zoom meetings every week and kind of stagger the different times. And so hopefully we'll all have kind of a spot where you can at least speak to me at least once a week. And all right, otherwise everyone have a great start of the class and good luck and do well. And I'll speak to you soon. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.